what it doing, what it does, what's going on? This is your boy, The Sound of the Rain, and I want to welcome you to episode 11 of the Sound of the Rain podcast. And I know it has been a very long time since we have had the time to spend some time together. I've said time 3 times, so it's time to take time, and the time that I'm taking. Bars. But yeah, man, I'm back. I appreciate everyone for their patience during this slight hiatus. I would really say after putting out this Beats Whack, after putting out I Need a Little Help, I was very exhausted. I put out I Need a Little Help, this Beats Whack, What If, Thug Always, and then I just dropped Fury last week, and I'm actually looking to drop a song this Friday or within 3 days that's based on John Wick. I've written it, I gotta record it and mix and master it, so I've been pretty busy. So it hasn't been just for lack of not wanting to do the podcast, but I also have kind of come to the conclusion that there's some changes that I want to make. So that brings me to the title of this episode, which is called Brand New Sound. So it's a play on words. Brand new sound means it's brand new, all new, coming from a new point and a new perspective. But when I say brand, I'm also referring to the brand of Sound of the Rain. And then when I say sound, I'm referring to me, myself, Sound of the Rain. So it's going to be a very great episode today. Like I said, thank you so much for tuning in. So regarding, before I get into that, I want to touch on my Spotify numbers. I've actually been checking a lot on my numbers with Spotify. They send me some good emails to kind of give me some feedback as far as what the music is doing and how it's being received and the plays it's getting. So for the last 28 days, the number one song that I've had has been I Need a Little Help with 134 streams. It was first added on the 18th of February. So since February 18th, it's had... Actually, it's been a little bit more time than that, but yeah, 134 streams. Next is This Beats Whack with 102 streams. After that is Fury, which I just released, which is inspired by Shazam, Fury of the Gods. If you haven't heard that, go check that out. Getting a lot of great feedback on that. Definitely appreciate it. 57 streams on Fury, which is awesome. And I'm going to talk about Fury. Fury was supposed to be longer than it was. And for the sake of wanting to hurry up and get it out on the day that the movie came out, I just went ahead and kind of simplified it. And it almost, I think, might have helped the song. There's a post that I put up on Instagram or Facebook. I can't remember. But I was talking about how, this is what it was. It was on my LinkedIn profile. So I didn't even put it on any of my Sound of the Rain social media. So I probably need to do that. But what I was talking about was how the songs that you hear most of the time nowadays are very short. I'm talking like almost 2 minutes tops. And it kind of makes sense from the artist's perspective. If you think about it, you get 30 seconds that counts as one stream. So if I put the work in and make a 4-minute song like This Beats Whack, or a 3-minute song, that time, effort, and energy could have gone into making 1 or 2 different songs. So someone might write 3 verses, and one of those verses, each one of those verses could essentially be their own song. For the sake of, the song is shorter, so people are going to listen to it more. It's going to be more repetitive. And it's sad that the way that the business is being approached, due to technology, but it's affecting the quality of the music. Like with this podcast, if you listen to a minute of it, that counts as one stream. So with a song, if you listen to 30 seconds of it, that's going to count as a stream towards that. So I've noticed like Fury has 57 streams since the 17th of March. That's only 4 days ago. You see what I'm saying? 4 days ago, and it's already at a third of what I Need a Little Help has. So what I'm, kind of thinking of doing is really because I want to get a lot more content out, and I'm going to get into this more later on in the show, is making songs that have like one verse and maybe like a hook and a bridge. And that was actually my plan in the first place. When I did the Ninja Turtles, the Raphael rap, that's what that was supposed to be. I had taken a poll and asked people, what characters did you want to see me do songs about? And Raphael was the one that most people voted for. And I was actually going to do songs for the remaining 3. That was what was supposed to happen with the Raph rap. And as I was working on it just creatively, I just didn't want to stop. So the song became longer. I gave Leonardo his own verse. I had Michelangelo in there. And, it became what it was. So going forward, I'm not saying that, I'm going to stifle my creativity or by, I can't make this over 2 minutes. If something is just in me and I just feel it coming out and I'm going for it, I'm going to do it, But my main aim is going to be to just have a little more, my songs will be a little more condensed. But number 4 was a Good Guy, which had 36 streams. Number 5 was Warlord, which had 31. Backup was number 6 with 26 streams. Master Flow was 24. It was number 7 with 24 streams. Number 8 was Who's the Man with 21 streams. What You Know About That had 19 streams, was number 9. My Plea was number 10 with 17 streams. How We Roll was number 11 with 17. Lovely was number 12 with 17. The Prelude was number 13 with 16 streams. And number 14 was The Calm with 13 streams. So I'm noticing, with Spotify, I will really say that like people are gonna kind of hear your music, and I think if you're consistent in putting music out, it gives you a better chance. So, I've put out 3 songs within the past, since February 18th, I put out 3 songs on Spotify. And if you look back at the previous years, my submissions of music was pretty sporadic. The Prelude came out October 29th of 2020. Lovely and How We Roll came out the 30th of October of 2020. So, this year, definitely focusing more on consistency. And this year is already flying by. It'll be April in about a week. But, yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about as far as how the brand was changing is that on the YouTube channel, I really haven't been very active on there. Before I was putting a lot of Bone Thugs verse of the day, doing, reaction videos, a lot of Bone stuff. I've done cooking videos. Now I put up my music when I make it, and if I make a podcast episode or when I make a podcast episode, I'll put that on there as well. What I've been trying to do the whole time I've had a YouTube channel is figure out what niche I was in, what niche I was going to be in. If you're not familiar with the term niche, it's almost like a category. And so it helps. I believe if someone has the has the blessing of knowing specifically what they want to do, I think it allows them to be more consistent. I think it allows for a better experience for the user, and I think it allows them to kind of navigate, how they want to direct their channel better. But I've seen a lot of people that started out doing something and then they'll go into something else. There's this kid, I used to watch his name, excuse me, I still watch his content like on Twitter. His name was Top Tech Geek. And he would, you would say he was like a young MK BHD in the making, covering tech stuff. And as time progressed, I would see him more on Twitter doing like a lot of more short form videos, and he would talk about sneakers and video games and things in pop culture. And he recently changed the name because he felt like a Top Tech Geek wasn't representative of what he was doing, and he had kind of found his flow, what he wanted to do, and it wasn't tech stuff, it was more than tech stuff. And so for me, me trying to figure out, what am I going to narrow it down to, my brain isn't narrowed down. That's not how I function. That's not how I work. There might be some people out there that can do that, and I think it's great. But for me, it's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be all over the place. If I feel like doing an episode of the podcast where I talk about fast food restaurants, that's what I'm gonna talk about. If I do an episode of the podcast where I talk about different flavors of bottled water, that's what I'm gonna talk about. I got an upcoming episode with my wife. She's gonna be a guest on here, and we're gonna talk about this concert that we went to. You know what I'm saying? And it's really gonna be representative of me, Sound of the Raign. So that's essentially how the brand is gonna be changing. I'm gonna be doing whatever I want to do, and music will be a huge part of that on a sporadic level. I've been getting some great feedback as far as the Fury song, people saying that it sounds like something that really belongs in a movie soundtrack or something that they would hear within a movie, and I'm loving it. It's like I want to do songs about almost every movie that comes out, if I had the time or the opportunity, so that's where I'm at, and that's the freedom that I have. I felt like sometimes I think I was not doing myself justice or really kind of holding back the personality that I have, because I felt I was talking about making music, and I was talking about the progress of Sound of the Raign, but there were also like inspirational podcast episodes where I would talk about different topics and how they were affecting me and how they, ways for the listeners to navigate around them. And I still will make stuff like that, but it's just gonna be everywhere. I'm gonna be doing cooking videos, movie reviews, talking about anime. I have a desire to learn and kind of get a little bit more into anime. My sons are into it pretty hardcore. And I think for me, I haven't found or had the time to. I've been binging Sons of Anarchy pretty bad, and I might make an episode talking about that, But Sound of the Raign is myself. Sound of the Raign is the brand, and so if you're here for Sound of the Raign, all of those things are going to be a part of me, and that's what you're going to get. It's always going to be about the music. That's the main focal point, the main focus. I won't stop making music, but there's going to be so much more that comes into it, So I definitely want y'all to look out for that. As far as music goes, the next release will probably be the song that I wrote for John Wick. It's written. Matter of fact, I plan on recording it today and hopefully having it done today so I can submit it to my distributor, DistroKid, and then that'll be available on the 24th. If nothing else, it'll definitely be available on YouTube on the 24th, the same day that the movie comes out. Then I've got a song that I wrote called Spitter's Anthem that was going to be on Brainstorm. And when I say was, what I mean by that is that Brainstorm is indefinitely canceled or put on hold, and the reason being so is that I don't have the audience for an album, and it's funny, my boy Marcus, shout out to Rick Schofield, 1-4 for the mighty Ground Zero. He had sent me a post on Instagram from an artist named Russ, and he was talking about how there was a point where he didn't have the audience for an album, and so he was like putting out singles, and that's actually the main reason. That's actually what I've wanted to do, and that's actually what I have been doing. The only reason that I'm putting an album out, I'm going to be transparent with y'all. One is because I keep saying album coming out, coming soon, and so I feel like, okay, I've said it enough times and canceled it enough times, like I really need to live up to it and provide y'all this project. The next thing behind that is that people okay, so yeah, I said I was gonna put out an album. I wanted to be a man of my word and give you guys an album. That's what it was. But my heart wasn't into it. But as I was working on it, I was excited about making the project, you know. But then the second thing was that I have an opportunity that has come into fruition. There's an artist that wants to work with me. They reached out to me and they want to collaborate with me on a project of theirs. And in my mind, I was like, okay, cool. What I want to do is between now and the time that this collaboration, if it happens, by the time it comes out, I want to have a project or an album done, or I want to have enough material so that when people hear me featured, they can say, you know, they can come back and say, oh, who's this guy, Sound of the Rain? And then they look me up and say, whoa. And then they see this album called Brainstorm, and they see all this music and all these songs and all this different kind of stuff. And so that was my logic behind it. That and feeling like I owe you guys an album. You know, and I feel like I will be able to make better progress. And I'm not saying, in Russ's situation, he talked about putting out a song a week, and I think that he almost had all the material already. I'm not saying that I'm going to be able to do that, but I want to be able to focus on specific songs, and consistently put them out. And one thing I love about doing songs about, you know, based on movies and music and songs based on movies and video games and different things from pop culture, it challenges my creativity. I never would have made a song like the Fury Shazam song with the rock and roll vibe and screaming Shazam within the background. I would have never made a song like that of my own merit. But being challenged by trying to be creative and make something that matched the movie, it was fun. It was like creative writing back in elementary school. And I love writing. I love English. Like, my love for making music and writing music, the origin of it comes from me just loving English and writing in general and being creative. You know, I'd even be interested in, you know, writing a book or writing a story or something one day, you know. So that's what it is. Me putting out songs and me shifting my focus to the Xanthia project. Project Xanthia. If you're not familiar with what that is, go back and listen to maybe the last episode or the episode before that. I can't remember, but I do talk about that. It's a collaboration that I'm working on with author Nick Adams, who's a friend of the show, who will be on the show in the near future. So yeah, so the songs that I intended for Brainstorm, I'm still going to make them and I'm still going to put them out. They'll just be individual songs. Now, there's one song that's kind of like an intro. I don't know if I'll put that out because it was supposed to be an intro, and I don't know how it will kind of carry out. You know, maybe I'll save it as the actual intro for the album. Excuse me. You know, but that's definitely what, you know, that aspect of it is going to be. Also, stories. I want to tell more stories, you know, talk about more things I've been through. You know, I'm 42 years old. I've lived a decent amount of life, you know, so there's a lot of things that I've experienced and things I can share that you guys, I think, will be entertained by, that you might find funny, that you might be educated by. You know, even the story behind Crazy World, like how that song came about and how Crazy Bone actually heard the song, which is insane. You know, I never sent him the song. You know, I didn't reach out to him. So, you know, I'll save that for another episode. But stories are definitely going to be a bigger part of this show. You know, if I still do that episode where my wife is on here, we're going to talk about this concert that we went to, you know, and telling kind of the story behind that. And it's pretty hilarious, you know. Yeah. So another thing I want to get into, and this is going to be totally off the wall, is I went to the movies the other week and I saw the movie 65. and I kind of want to give a review on it. I was like, what? You're giving me a movie review? Yes, I actually am. 65. It was good. I'm not going to score it on a number basis, like, 1 through 5 or 5 stars, or I would say if I recommend going to see it or not, or like waiting until it's able to rent. I would say I would wait till you can like rent it, or it's on a streaming platform. The only reason I say that, I thought it was a good movie. It was very entertaining, but the premise of the movie was better than what the actual movie gave. When you saw that, okay, this is 65 million years ago, but there's these futuristic human beings that have come to Earth, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, wow, you're gonna see how they're the ones that destroyed the dinosaurs. Do they start civilization? I mean, there was just so many cool areas I think that they could have went with it, and they didn't do any of that. It's essentially just a survival movie. It's got a lot of action in it. It's got a lot of survival. It's got a cool relationship built up with the main characters. But as far as my expectations of it and the itch that I wanted it to scratch, it didn't do that, So that's my movie review. But yeah, so this episode is pretty much wrapping up. I really wanted to take the time to kind of let you all know what is coming up with The Sound of the Rain. And you'll probably get episodes like more often, You'll definitely, I will commit to one episode a week. But if I just feel like making an episode, like something's on my mind, like, you know what? I want to talk about this, or I got a story to tell. This just happened to me. I might make an episode about it and just give it to you all, so definitely look out for that. But like I said, I'll commit to at least one episode a week. So expect one a week, and you might get some surprises where you get more than one a week. But check out Fury, inspired by Shazam, Fury of the Gods. It's on all streaming platforms. You can purchase it on iTunes. You can purchase it on Amazon Music. I thank everyone for the support. Brand new Sound of the Rain. We back.